Hi, my name is Zachary Angelot, and I wanted to go over my Gollemer project. I did add in a bunch of GPU support. Um, I added in Go GPU, which is a pure Go GPU um, library. And originally, I had been using, and it's still kind of in there, but it's not actually being used. I just need to get rid of it. Like web GPU and all that. And boy, was that a rough ordeal. And because it had used Rust and Seago and all that, and boy, the stack trace errors were just absolutely horrid. I mean, think about using a hard language on the GPU while getting all those terrible errors. Even Gemini had a whole lot of trouble dealing with all that. So now I use the Go GPU, and it's perfect. I mean, it's everything I could have asked for. Um, as far as the LLM, so you have to put Seago enabled to 0. And you would just type in "How are you?" and it doesn't. It still does the word salad, as you kind of tell, because I didn't quite get through a lot of epochs. I've been switching systems and all that. Still does the intent guessing as best as ever, but it still has the menu and all that jazz. As far as the training, you can train from the bash file. I changed the bash file to Linux train and then Windows train. That was just because it has a whole lot of stuff in it that is useful, I guess, when you are training. Let me go to where's the Linux? There we go. I mean, they're relatively the same, but this one has a little bit more stuff in it for the Linux. Just has a lot of testing, hardware awareness stuff, and readouts and profiling and all that good fun stuff. So you can actually train it like this if you wanted, or whatever. You can change these values. You also change them inside the bash file. Anyways, yeah, you can just run it and it'll kind of do its thing, and it'll use up the GPU. Kind of knows my GPU and CPU. When I was originally doing it on the Windows, I thought it was going pretty fast. I didn't have to necessarily worry about the memory and all that, but it turns out it was actually incredibly unstable. And on Linux, yeah, the memory I have to work on a little bit more because I just didn't touch the optimization of it yet, really. But it's just a lot more stable. I don't it when you actually look at the graph and everything, it goes in perfect. But this is on my Chromebook. Monitor. And you can kind of see it revs up some stuff, but it'll do like a wave. Like it'll kind of go for a while, do its thing, and then it'll pick up, and then it'll sink back down right away. And that's more of a natural thing when it's trying to get through all the batches, rather than Windows where it kind of does its own thing. But yeah, you can train it to do all sorts of stuff. But I'm still working on trying not to do the word salad as much, but I need to let the epochs kind of run. I haven't had a chance to just let it go just completely on its own for a while. I had a little time here and there, but I mean, an hour or whatever, it just isn't gonna necessarily do it. But yeah, it now works on the GPU, works on Windows, Linux. You don't necessarily have to worry too much about the GPU stuff. Well, because it uses that library. And as far as with that library, go GPU. You would have to set things to turn CGO off. Yeah, see. But it's actually really nice and easy. Yeah, you can enable all sorts of different backends with it, which is nice. Yeah, it's just an amazing library. I'll put in the notes. But yeah, it's training. It's doing it pretty well. I just need to. I had originally set it to maybe a little too high with the memory, and it was just kind of closing out my editor because it was taking up like, I don't know. I only have 16 gigs of RAM, and so it was doing about 16 gigs of RAM, and I was like, ooh. But I lowered it a little to about 13, 14. But you can lower that too inside the program as well. Because I mean, the bash file has basically all the things you would need to turn on and off and do the simmed stuff. It also it's training while I'm recording video too, but that's just because, like I said, it does in waves. See, not sure what wave it's on now, but yeah, that's what it's doing and why it's doing it, and what I worked on and why I worked on it. You notice the memory is about 9. Linux just doesn't take up much RAM, which is really, really nice. Windows, although it has the indexing, if I want to get anywhere with my training, I'm going to need utilize more of that RAM, the 16 gigs. Plus you can add more swap, I guess, if you wanted. Yeah, it's coming along-ish. I'm back to Linux, which is just a lot easier. I found a good library for the GPU. Maybe the commands are a little bit different, I guess, but that's just because programming on a GPU is a completely different piece of hardware. And I originally had tried to do it completely from scratch, well, with vibe coding, sort of, and it was going nowhere. I was getting memory lists, and I was just going nowhere real quick. So that's why when I found these libraries, I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. And, but now, I mean, this is just my desktop is an i5 only. What was it? Yeah, i5 12400F, which is older. It's not really, I mean, I think it's 12th generation? I don't know. Maybe, but what are they on now? Like 14, 15 now? I don't even know. So, yeah, like I said, I had switched off from my Chromebook. It's funny, too, because I just seen Google release a new model that seems to do a lot of that intent guessing stuff, which has to do with the preloaded intent guessing training. Was it Gemma 4 or something it's called? And that's the reason why it's able to run on your phone and stuff. It's just because there's a lot of, and you could read a documentation for it. There's a lot of lookup tables and everything for it, and it's just, I mean, I obviously don't know anything about audio and video training or anything, but that's something it can do. But and I also don't have access to Google's lookup tables. But if you wanted to mimic that, at least the text-wise, I mean, this would be a really easy way to do that. And then once you pre-train it, you could then put it anywhere, and having it run isn't really that hard. The only reason why it was taking a little bit with the LLM with this is because I was having it run off the GPU. You don't necessarily have to do that. Obviously, from prior videos I made, you could tell and see it would be snappy and right up. But this, because it loads everything and does it on the GPU, it's sort of a little more intensive, and so it takes a little bit to load up everything. You notice it loaded 768D, which is the parameters, which is pretty freaking big. But it doesn't mean I trained it all the way. I just didn't let it run yet. Like, just, run for, hours. I just didn't do that yet. So it's still doing word salad, but it once I do get it, because there was a short time before I went to the Windows stuff where I did let it run like for a while, like 4 or 5 hours, and it was actually giving me back stuff that was okay. It wasn't quite word salad, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. But it was getting there. But yeah, that's generally what's been going on while I've been doing it. It's a little boring, I guess. But yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. And I don't know.